Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my channel here on YouTube, Love and Guiding Light. I'm just gonna sage the area. I've spent a couple of days in hermit mode, shall I say? Yes, hermit mode. And feel led to come on here just to offer some enlightenment, some channel things that came through to me these last few days. I went to the lake and walked. I spent a great deal of time out in nature, which is my favorite past thing to do. And yeah, Spirit gave me some messages for the collective, and I just wanted to share them with you all, okay? We're just cleansing the area. Thank you, Spirit. Welcome. Come in. I welcome you in, Spirit. Ancestors, archangels, all those that are currently present here with us tonight, March 6th, 2023. We welcome you in, Spirit, for your guidance, your direction, enlightenment, to help us on our spiritual journey. Okay, let me put that out. Also, anyway, I'm Keisha, and this is Love and Guiding Light, and I'm glad to have you all here. We're gonna do a little bit of the Tibetan bowl to also welcome Spirit in and clear the energies. Everyone, just sit quietly. Take in deep breaths. Inhale. This is going to purify and clear the air. Prepare us for deep messages in which we receive. Yes. So, for the last, I don't know, let's say about maybe a week or so, I've had a lot of synchronicities with cherries, okay? Cherries appearing everywhere I'm at. On t-shirts, on jewelry, so much so I had to grab me a pair. I don't know if you can really see those, but anywho, those are cherry earrings. See them? Yes. And I have just, just been like really just like, oh my God, I love cherries. I remember a long time ago, I don't know, it's probably about, I want to say 13, 14. I had this really cute black little dress, and it was a cherry dress, and it had, I don't know, it was almost like a, what do you call that? Like a gypsy style dress, put it that way. Black, but it had red cherries on it. Very cute dress. I love that dress. I had that dress forever. I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, I outgrew it anyway. I would have never been able to get in it anymore, but I really love that dress. So I had, like I said, been seeing a lot of cherries around me. I even bought me a cherry decal, crystalled out cherry decal, because I was just like, oh, I'm just loving the cherries, loving the cherries. Okay, God, what is it with these cherries? Okay. I was like, okay, Lord, you preparing us, honey. You preparing us for something magnificent, and I am ready for it, okay? So, let me tell you, I did some research, because that is what I do spiritually on this journey. Is I love to understand why I keep having these synchronicities or whatnot. I don't know if I gave you any information on me, but that's how my awakening started. It started with numbers, synchronized numbers that I continued to see, and I believed them to be my grandmother trying to get me to play numbers. She was very lucky with lottery. So, and she used to hit all the time. So when I kept seeing numbers, I would run out and play. However, I just was not hitting. Okay, so that then led me down the path of looking up the numbers. Okay, so when I began to do that, then it was messages for me. And during that time that those messages was coming to me was during a very significant time in my life. Literally, like I was at hit rock bottom. I had left my significant other who I had been with for 20 something plus years, and yeah, the rug was pulled from under my feet, so to speak, and truly broke my heart. Broke my heart to the core, should I say. And it was really, really, really challenging. I really was in a dark place. And what I come to understand now is that I was going through the dark night of the soul. And if you're not familiar with that term, then perhaps you need to look it up. And you would get a description of what the dark night of the soul is. It's almost as if you're dying. Your soul is dying, and you really are in a dark place. And yeah, it was really a really, 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 really tough time in my life. And during those times when those numbers were coming up, God knew I needed some encouragement. So he started with the numbers. And I thank him for that, because those numbers, those kept me in the rink, okay? Anywho, so I'm going to read to you today what the appearance of cherries mean, okay? Yeah, I know some people believe that, you know, a cherry is just a common thing, but really, no, it really isn't, okay? Cherries are pretty ancient. They go way back. So it says, there are a few things that taste better than fresh cherries. This is why there are so many delicious dishes that have cherries as a main ingredient. But did you know that there is a lot more to cherries than the fact that they are delicious and nutritious? For hundreds of years, cherries have been very important in literature and in art. And the cherry symbolize, oh, excuse me, forgive me. And the cherry symbolism is huge in both. The meaning behind cherries varies. This tasty fruit appears in many cultures and in many different eras. The cherries we love to eat originally came from Asia, where they are grown into a rich soil that lies between the Black and Caspian Seas. Even today, no one is quite sure how cherries came to Europe, but most of us are sure glad that they did. We do know that they came to America in the 1600s and have continued to grow in population all over the world. You will find cherries referenced by Theo, Theophrastus, a Greek philosopher who lived between 371 and 287 BCE. There's a mention of Roman conquerors and Chinese aristocrat enjoying cherries. This was a food for all, from the working class to the aristocratic. Aristocratic. Today we are going to take a look at cherry symbolism, their spiritual meaning, and more. So let's get started. Did you know that the cherries date back thousands of years? Actually, there are documentations of cherries as far back as the ancient Roman times, way back to 72 BC. Here is something very interesting to consider. Some living cherry trees actually dated back almost to these times. There are cherry trees in Japan, and that are thought to be over 1,000 years old. Another cherry tree located on the grounds of Jisoji Temple in Hokuto, Japan, may be close to 2,000 years old. This tree has a very dense trunk with a circumference that is nearly the same as its height, about 30 feet. This tree has a very dense trunk with a, repeating that. Here is the interesting tidbit. There are over 1,000 varieties of cherries growing in the wild throughout the world, but less than 10 of these varieties are grown to produce edible fruits. Today, there are two main types of cherries grown in the U.S., sweet and tart. Within these types are a few different varieties. When speaking of the sweet cherries, we think of bean cherries first and foremost. Other sweet varieties include the Lambert cherry as well as the Rainier cherry. Both are grown in Oregon, California, and Washington. You will find the tart cherries being grown in such areas as Wisconsin and Michigan. Cherry symbolism. The cherry is not just a delicious fruit, it is also very symbolic in cultures all over the world. For instance, in Japan, the cherry is a symbol of good fortune. It can also symbolize new beginnings. Japanese folklore states that when the cherry tree is revered for not only its precious fruit, but also its beauty. The cherry represents beauty and pleasure. Because the blossoms only last for a short period, they can also be symbolic of the time we have to share with others and give to ourselves. Time is short and we have to do as much as we can in the time that is given to us. The cherry is a reminder of this. In ancient China, cherries were thought to symbolize immortality. There is a cherry legend that speaks of goddess X I think it's Zai Wang Mu. She had a garden with cherries of immortality. These cherries only ripen once every 1,000 years. Cherries in mythology. Ancient mythology is filled with lore about the cherries. For instance, it was thought that cherry trees and their fruit contained the elixir that gave the gods immortality. It may even be that the cherry was thought to be ambrosia, foods of the gods, or at least part of it. In ancient Buddhist lore, the cherry is symbolic of femininity and fertility. One legend states that Buddha mother was supported by the holy cherry tree while she was birthing her son. There's also Chinese lores about cherries. For instance, some tales talk of the phoenix and the cherry blossom. Listen, I am also an artist, so I painted, and I love to paint. And I did a phoenix. I also have a cherry blossom tree that I painted in my living room actually, in my living room over my television area. So I literally have a lot of things that is resonating with me in this here reading because I did those things in the past. Let me show you I'll be right back and show you my Phoenix Rising. Just 1 second. Okie dokie, sorry y'all. So this is my hair painting of my Phoenix Rising. I don't know if you all can see that. Yes, and I also blinged it out because I am a true Gemini, and anyone knows that Geminis love bling, and I am certainly one that loves bling. So that is my Phoenix Rising, and then like I said, I do have a painting of a cherry blossom tree under a pink moon in my living room, in which the moon glows because I used a particular paint, you know, in order to give it that effect. So when I read this, I just got tickled, okay, very tickled about the phoenix and the cherry blossom. It is said that the phoenix will bless a cherry blossom with everlasting life by sleeping on a bed of the flowers. The cherry is also very symbolic in the Western culture. It is thought that the cherry is a symbol of good luck and future happiness. Cherry symbolism in Christianity. Most of us don't take the time to think about what many things may symbolize, including cherries. But you might be surprised to learn just how symbolic cherries actually are in many cultures around the world. For instance, you will find cherries in medieval literature and art. Take the Cherry Tree Carol. The Christmas song has been around since the 15th century. In this song, a pregnant Mary and her husband Joseph traveled to Bethlehem to take a part in the census. During their travel, they stopped to have a rest, and they just happened to stop at a cherry orchard. Mary asked her husband to pick some of the cherries for nourishment for herself and the unborn Christ child. Joseph denies her request, saying that the real father should pick them for her, not him. How typical, should I say, of the masculine energy. You know, I don't know if any of you all are dealing with some of the same energies with some of these guys out here, but I just say that's typical behavior, unfortunately. We just have to pray for him. So he told her that the real father should pick them for her, not him. Christ then speaks to the cherry tree from the womb, ordering it to lower a branch so Mary can easily pick the cherries herself. You see that? You know, some of us might be dealing with, you know, single parenting, and that should be a word of encouragement that, you know, regardless if you have both parents actively involved within the parenting of your children, whatever the reason may be, whether it's because one chooses not to play the responsible role as they should, trust that God knows, and He is going to always provide a way for you and your children. And as you can see in this, he says, Christ then speaks to the cherry tree from the womb, ordering it to lower a branch so Mary can easily pick the cherries herself. When the branch lowers, Joseph is instantly repentant of his words. It took for God to intercede. You see, God had to intercede that situation in order for Joseph to be repentant and to humble himself, you know, before God, that the errors of his ways. And right now, the energy with masculine and feminine right now is a little shaky for everyone, including myself, and I'm praying for us all. But yeah, you know, I literally can resonate with that. I'm just like, okay, God, you know, I've given every olive branch, extended every olive branch, every thing I could think of to try to help the relationship of my son with his father, and I don't have no control over that. God still provides a way for myself and my son, and I'm so grateful for that. And I really can't um, help in bandaging the relationship. That is something in which I feel like, I had to give it to God, because at this point, yeah, I just can't do it. I have no control over another human being. I only have control over myself. And I know that my responsibility as a parent is to be consistent, be present, and available, which I have been and will continue to be regardless of whatever the situation is between myself and my son's father. I can't just walk away because our situation ended or whatnot. I still am responsible for my child, as he did not come here by immaculate conception. So therefore, um, I have a responsibility to continue to provide for him and take care of him. And I do so because I love him, Um, and no matter what I do as far as trying to have expressed that or expecting that same behavior from my son's father, I can't make him do anything he doesn't want to do. Or maybe it's just not within him. It took for me to really step back and just reflect on some of that. Him not really having a close-knit relationship with his father, which is no excuse. I feel like there is no excuse for behavior in which you have to take ownership of your own actions. See, I didn't have either, but hey, I'm still in the game, and I'm going to make sure I stay in the game for my children. I didn't have my mother nor my father. And I was raised pretty much by my grandmother and by the state. I was warded the state most of my life. So what can I say, But just because I'm this way don't mean I can expect him to be that way. You understand? Everybody is different, and everyone's journey is different. So I had to really just accept it for what it is at this present time and give it to God and trust that, he's in the background somewhere, somehow, working all of this out for the betterment of all of us, At least that's my hopes. And I believe that because I believe in my Creator. So it says, let's take a look at some more cherry symbolism in Christianity from around the world. It says the shepherd plays. Wakefield Master, the shepherd plays, is another great example of cherry symbolism. This tale tells of poor shepherds visiting Mary and the Christ child while they were in Bethlehem, while they were in the Bethlehem stable. The shepherds are only able to bring the lowest of gifts due to their poverty, but still wanted to present something to the child. The gift from the first shepherd is a bunch of cherries. The tale tells us that the cherry is a humble gift, but one that is more than good as a substitute for the treasures bought by kings and others. Sir Kling, a medieval chivalric romance, talks about a knight who prays at the base of the tree, begging for wealth for his family. He looks upwards and notices that the tree is suddenly filled with cherries. He sees this as a miracle and a sign of good things to come. He, along with his son, delivers the cherries to the king, who grants him the wealth he prayed for. You catch that? He sees this as a miracle and as a sign of good things to come. He, along with his son, delivers the cherries to the king, who grants him the wealth that he prayed for. The sexual symbolism of cherries. Throughout the years, cherries have taken on a different sort of symbolism. This is one that is much more on a sexual nature. And, I'm not sure about, how you all feel about that. But, a lot of people see it as you know, um, as far as the woman and losing her virginity, popping the cherry or whatever. And really and truthfully, I really don't even want to touch in on the sexual nature of the cherries, because that is not really the message in which I was channeling from God, because I felt like, it was more about good fortune, good things to come. Right now we are in this energy of shifting and changing. We are getting ready to have the full moon tomorrow. Um, and that energy that's going to be coming in is the energy that is going to bring in and uh, a, shift a lot of things for us that have been on this journey, really putting forth our effort, really trying, doing all that we can in order to evolve and, be the better version of ourselves, who we are, you know, authentically here to be, And I believe and I feel in my spirit, because I have this calmness and I don't really understand, like, it's really been, you know, just peaceful and calm. And, I kind of have a joy. I just feel like something good is going to happen for the collective. All of us. All of us have been working so fervently hard to improve ourselves, going within, loving ourselves, setting up healthy boundaries, and so forth. So that is something to look forward to, and I'm hoping that you all receive that. Okay. Also, this is my Nature Speaks. I also have an Animal Speaks, because I have lots and lots of encounters with animals as well. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to read to you also what it says in regards to cherries out of this book. I think it's C 262. I hope you all are having a great Monday. And then you all are looking forward to your Tuesday, I know I am. 262. So we're going to read what it says about the cherries. Okay. Here. Okay. So it says, cherry. Sweet and sour cherries have great symbolism, especially when examined from the perspective of the doctrine of signatures. There are a variety of trees, some bearing edible fruit and some not. The tree can live 30 to 40 years. Of all the cherry trees, the black cherry was considered the most valuable to the lumberman. Its wood is precious to cabinetry making. Appalachians pioneers distilled its fruit into a drink called cherry bounce. When the cherry tree began to ripen, bears would congregate and move to feast on them, creating problems for settlers and others in the Appalachian. For those to whom the cherry is a messenger, study of the bear is also recommended as well. From the red to the rich black fruit, it has a symbolic aspect associated with the juices of life and new birth. It also has a tendency to produce thousands of stray seedlings, a gift quite symbolic of its ensuring its own rebirth on some level. It is because of this that it has often been associated with new awakening. So also, I believe that that is going to be another thing that's going to be transpiring with a lot of us. We are going to be awakening to, some of our gifts, something that has been dormant within us. They say we all have spiritual gifts. Perhaps that's been just lying dormant. And I believe they just awaken gradually. It's not something that just happens overnight. It's something that happens gradually. So, um, because, you know, as for me, I've been also having a lot of things brought to me. So it's like knowledge just starting to come to me. Things that I'm prepared to look into and understand. You know, I think now where I'm at on my journey, that these things that are starting to manifest before me and I'm researching and so forth are things that I believe that I am spiritually ready to understand, embrace, and accept. You know, everyone is at a different pace on this journey. You know, no one is um, on the same level. We all come and have incarnated at different times, have more knowledge, nor, you know, more accessibility to more things, you know. And so I believe that the things in which I'm finding out now, I am ready to receive. Back then, I probably would have been like, okay, you know, because a lot of the stuff that has transpired, I did. I really went through that. Like, am I losing my mind? Am I going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or we're not? And it took me a great deal of time to really, you know, embrace what was transpiring, because I've learned over my lifetime completely different things, you know, through church and all that. I went to school. I wanted to be a minister and all of that kind of stuff, and how God communicates with us, whatnot. You know, it's just completely different. You know, God can communicate with us through so many means, okay? It could be just through someone speaking prophetic word to you. It could be a book, something that just jumps out at you and really resonates with you. It could be a song that you continue to hear over and over and over and over, and it's really moving you at the core of your soul. It could be numbers. I told you I was having the synchronicities with numbers. As you can see, I'm wearing 333, and 333, well, it basically, it says your guides are supporting you. You know, that's letting me know that my angels are with me. um, they are always with us, you know, supporting us, encouraging us, and guiding us. You know, perhaps you believe that you are in control of your life, but sorry, Charlie, you're not. But that should bring you some comfort to know that you are, you know, guided, and you're not on this journey alone. Um, we are all consciously consciously connected, whether you're aware of that or not. We are all consciously connected, and we are all one of one, the creator, okay? So it says, the cherry tree is the tree of the phoenix, again, which rose from the ashes. One who aligns with its spirit, in essence, will find the energy and ability to rise from the fires of their own life in a magnificent manner. Cherry blossoms have some dynamic qualities associated with them, in which will become active within an individual life that align with the tree. Cherry blossoms have some dynamic qualities associated with them, in which will become active. Did you catch that? I just said that. It's going to become active. I believe after this full moon, you're going to be activated into some of your gifts, your spiritual gifts. You know, maybe it may be telekinesis, maybe it may be the ability to prophesy, to see things prior to them transpiring. Um, it will be, you know, literally being able to communicate with those that have passed on. on the other side, because we do have the ability to do that. You know, just because someone passes and leaves the earthly plane does not mean they're not with us. They are. They're accessible to us. They're souls. They're with us. They guide us. Those are our ancestors. Those are our loved ones. May it be your parents, you know, if they passed on, grandparents, just lineage, you know, your whole family, whoever it may be, ancestors, their ancestors, ancestors. Okay, we are all able to communicate with them. And they communicate with us. They guide us in so many ways. It's just that we're not being conscious to it. Okay. So we are about to be activated. And within the individual, it's going to be within our individual lives, and that align with the tree, the cherry tree. So it could be, like I said, spiritual gifts. It can be, we could be blessed with fortune. You know, I just think beautiful things are about to transpire. Good things are about to happen. This energy is shifting into a very pleasant place. You know, something to look forward to. It awakens the energy of faith and trust on high levels. I'm telling y'all, I have been feeling this energy of just, okay, God, whew, it's been so much going on. And as much as I would have tried to fix some things that's transpired around me, I am just beyond exhausted. And I've come to understand that I have no control over it, as much as it is tugged at my heart to see other people going through stuff and, you know, want to get involved and do what I can in my physical, worldly way. I just know that I had, oh God, Lord, I release it. I have to let you have this, because at this point, I really don't see how I can do anything in my own power, you know. I'm giving it to you. And I've just had this really overwhelming feeling of faith and trust at a higher level than I have had over the past 5 years, because I've been on this journey for 5 years. And I've been on this journey solo, okay? So I've been basically reading, studying, understanding so many things God has awakened me to, and it's just like been such a blessing. And I won't lie, it hasn't been an easy walk. You know, he say the road is what is narrow. It's narrow for the chosen, and wide, I believe, for those that believe they are following the truth. Okay, there's so many of us out, you know, it's a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, a lot of folks that are still, you know, slumbering, just aren't awoke, aren't aware of what is really transpiring, that we are ascending. And I have tried to awaken friends, family, loved ones, whatnot. You know, they all look at me like I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And, you know, I just got to a place where I was like, okay, God, you know, as much as I want to awaken others, I'm not responsible for doing that. I can share what I've learned. I can share that wisdom. I can give that information. Encourage them to really do the research. Look into what I've shared with them. Encourage them to do that. But that is all I can do. And then I let it go, because, you know, I've had insults thrown at me because of my awakening, and, you know, being called horrible things, you know, which, you know, I just had to release some people in love and light, because really and truthfully, what can I do? I know they don't know. And I've come to a place where I just am loving and forgiving, and just say, okay, maybe later on down the road we'll reconnect and, you know, reconcile our friendships if that's plausible. And if not, oh well, I release them and love them and pray for them along the way. So So it says, and it enables the individual to let go of the aspect of the ego which are preventing your growth. So it's saying in this awakening with this energy of the faith and trust on a higher level, it is going to enable each of us individually to be able to let go of the aspect of the ego which is keeping us from growing, which I feel like is also true because I'm getting more comfortable in doing these, teachings or whatever you want to call it. Tonight is just, speaking and channeling from what encounters I've had over the week as far as the cherries or whatever. And I may maybe pull a card. I haven't decided yet, but I'm getting more comfortable in this, and then I'm sharing it with the world in hopes to connect with some of my brothers and sisters that are also on this awakening journey. And, maybe we can, whoop, 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 what do they call it? We can, what do they call that? We can certainly be an encouragement to one another, but maybe we can collab or something. I don't know. I just feel led to do this. I feel blessed to be able to do this. I pray that this information that I'm sharing with you all is encouraging you all to get excited for what is to come. No matter what we looking at, I don't watch television. I don't turn on my TV. Haven't done so in 5 years. Occasionally, I might watch something funny only because I only want to watch things that are, going to bring me joy. I don't watch scary stuff or anything like that. Occasionally, every now and then, I might turn on the television. I think I watched something last year. I haven't turned on the television this year. So, anywho, um, I'm just saying that, I'm hoping to connect with a community here on YouTube that is also on this journey and may be able to assist you along the way. So it says it's going to help us to let go of the ego, which is standing in the way and preventing us from growing. It says its appearance as a sign of a messenger in nature. So its appearance as a sign or messenger in nature is a reminder that rebirth always follows death. So cycles are closing. We are closing out a cycle. This is a new cycle coming in. This cycle is going to be so significant for the entire world, whether they know it or not. Those that are awake, who do know it, this is going to be a wonderful time, I feel like, for us. And it's a rebirth. It's a rebirth. So that cycle is dying out, and this new cycle that's coming in is a rebirth. A rebirth of new cycle, new beginnings, fresh beginnings. It alerts us to be open in consciousness, for new insight. Be open for the insight that is going to come. Like I said, it can come in so many ways. You can get insights from whatever. It could be anything. Spirit, synchronicities, animals. I don't know how you all have, had your connection on your journey, but for me, I've had animals, insects, numbers, flowers, nature. Everything in nature speaks to me. Okay, it truly does. And then now I'm actually reading this book. Excellent book. It's called The Bible in the Tarot, okay? Because, I know so many people question, oh, you can't be doing that. That's it. Well, okay, listen. I beg the differ. Tarot is symbolism. It goes across everything in the Bible. In so many cultures, numbers, all of that. Okay, symbolic. All of this is symbolic. So this book right here, I'm reading it and I'm learning so much. And I will perhaps, jot down some things from there to share with you all as well. Um, if that is something you're interested in, drop it in the comments on this video. So be open to the consciousness and for the new insight to come. This tree tells us that we are on the threshold of a new awakening, and it is up to us, though, to cross that new threshold. So from that, I'm getting that God is saying, listen, if you are like I am a Gemini, and I am constantly questioning myself. I'm always in my head. I'm always thinking, overthinking and this, that, and the other. And sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. And we can put ourselves in this stagnant energy and sabotage ourselves. Talk ourselves out of stuff, the monkey mind, letting the mind control us, all these type of things. However, God is wanting us to listen to our heart. You know what feels right for you. You know what you truly resonate with, what you understand, what you feel is truth for you. You know the things in which you want to manifest for yourself. Not just for yourself, but for humanity. Because we are the collective, the chosen, the ones that are already awakened. And were awoken because we are going to be the ones that are going to be helping those that awaken behind us, okay? And God does not want you questioning or second guessing yourself. There is a true connection we have with our Creator. And that connection is what you feel in your gut, in your soul. Like, when something is off, you can feel it. And throughout our lifetime, we've all been taught, oh, ignore that. You can't judge people based off of energy and give the person the benefit of the doubt. Oh, hell to no. I no longer do that. If I feel something is off within my spirit and my soul, I trust it because that is God created. Our Creator communicating with us. That is our communication with our Creator. He guides us. He directs us. He gives us these feelings, these feelings in which make us feel uneasy when we're around energy that is perhaps not for our highest good, to warn us. So take heed to that. Don't ignore what you're feeling based off what society has told you. You have to trust your intuition and follow it. So if you feel led to do something, from your spirit in regards to your awakening, in regards to giving back to the collective, however way you see possible, do that. I encourage you to do that. We all need one another. Every contribution to the collective empowers us all. Our experiences are meant to be shared to uplift another. We don't know what tidbit of information one may get that may keep them moving forward and in the rink. So if you are feeling called in any way to make a contribution to humanity, to the collective on this awakening journey, however it may be, I believe God is encouraging us to do so, to move forward now. Do not sabotage yourself. Good things are going to come from action, taking action and moving forward. Don't allow anything to hold you back. Not fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. There is nothing to be fearful of. And anything or anyone that you lose on this journey, okay. What we have to learn is to have no attachment. I've come to understand that friends come and go, loved one, lovers come and go, whatever. I have no more attachment to anything. I know that if a person comes into my life, there's a reason they're there. Either there's a lesson there for me, maybe the friendship is lifelong, and maybe it's not. And I'm okay with that. And I've learned to embrace that. And if that journey ends, I also learn to accept that and let it go freely. And I'm okay with that as well. And I pray that you all learn to embrace that as well, because there is really no ownership to anything. There's really no need for attachment to anything. We all are here to learn. This is our school ground. We all are each brought into one another's life for a reason. If that reason is just for a season to learn something and then move on, then so be it. That's fine too. And we have to learn to embrace that. Love one another, encourage one another, uplift one another. Speak empowerment to one another, not tear one another down, not be judgmental of one another. That is not our job, to be judgmental of one another. It was something that just dropped. I just lost that. Could you give it back to me, Spirit? Anywho, we have to stay the course. Not allow what is happening around us, what perhaps we may see on news or whatever. Like I said, I don't really like to watch news because it's always bad news. So I stay away from it for the most part as much as possible. Like, I am more on YouTube than anything watching that news, because I know mainstream media has an agenda, and the agenda is to keep people in the state of fear, because they know that if they are in this state of fear, that is a low vibration, and in that vibration they have the ability to control. So that is their way of controlling the masses. And I, for one, am not a part of the masses. Okay, I don't follow those because I am not one of them. I am in my opinion, am a leader, and I see things completely different than others. I'm the type of person, I like to really step out of a situation. I like to really look at everything from every perspective. I like to remove myself even from my own situations. I'll step out of my own shoes and step in the shoes of another to see, well, if that was me in that situation, how can I, or how would I handle that situation? So, yeah, I like to really think about things and see it from every aspect, which is something, God has blessed me with the ability to do, being that I am a Gemini. My ability to be flexible in that sense, as far as seeing things from every perspective is great. And I'm grateful for the ability to be able to do that. And I'm very fair. I'm very fair too. Anywho, I just wanted to come on and share that with you all about the cherry tree. And I pray, again, like I said, I pray that you all walk away encouraged, with some knowledge, as well as what the cherries mean in the event that you all too are experiencing that synchronistic situation, and not understanding why. Maybe you're just waking up and you're seeing cherries. Who knows? And maybe this message you get to someone that is just waking up, and this will be helpful for that person. And maybe you are awoke and you already know that you continually are seeing the cherries, and you yourself have started to do the research on the cherry tree. Anywho, I just wanted to share that with you all because it just really brought me joy seeing these cherries everywhere. Like, I'm just cherry happy, and I'm just like, okay, what other thing can I find with cherries on it? I've already got a decal. I got my little cherry earrings. Got me a cherry t-shirt, says sweet and sour on it. So who knows? I don't know. Let's see how many more days I keep having these encounters with cherries. Also, let's see, I had the encounter with the number 99999. Well, 999 also on the license plates of a vehicle. And that's another thing that I also have going on all the time, is numbers. So let's see what that message is. Sorry, y'all. I guess I should have took this stuff out, but I was so tickled to do the reading. Well, not the reading, but just to share that message with y'all, that I did not pull out my book on numbers. So let me see here. Jesus Christ. Y'all, I have so many cards. This is ridiculous. Let's see. My number book. Oh my God, I hope I can use my book. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can find my... Oh, here it is. I didn't lose it. Okay, perfect. So, let's see. 999. What is the message for 999? I've seen that on a license plate as well. 999. Listen to this, y'all. This is my book. Angel number. You see it? Doreen Virtue. 999. Listen, y'all. This is for the collective. It says, get to work, light workers. The world needs your divine life purpose right now. Fully embark upon your sacred mission without delay or hesitation. Psh, I can't make this up. Spirit, thank you. I can't make it up. Let's see. We're going to pull a card. Holy Spirit, universe, ancestors. This is my soul purpose cards. Right here, soul purpose. Right now, soul purpose. Let's see. Is there a message? Clearing them. Holy Spirit.